Hello, hello. Nobody there yet? If anybody's there, welcome to Kickback Recovery. We're doing 3 weekly live. We've got one person. Hello to that one person. Thank you. Oh, it's you. 2, hello, welcome. Wait for a few more to join, and then we're going to start. Might be a bit longer than usual. Well, for a midweek one anyway. Mind you, they're all midweeks, but a few more. We've got 3. Anybody else? 4. Hello, David. Thanks for your support. John Alexander. Hello, my friend. Shelley Hall, welcome. Kathleen, my good friend from over the pond. Hello. Elizabeth, hello. If we can get more people watching, the better, because our aim is to grow this page. We've got 22,000, I say it quite often, 22,500 followers, and that's growing day by day. And we want to reach lots of people. Hi, Steve. Lots of people worldwide carrying the message of recovery, sharing some of my recovery journey, but also involving our Kickback Recovery Service users who want to be involved. We have an anonymous bench, recovery education. We call it anonymous bench, where people will sit. It's a row of chairs where people will sit on there, and they don't want to be shown on camera, which we get that. But at Kickback, we kind of celebrate recovery, make it visible. That was our plan. Break stigma. 10 people, thank you. Wait for a few more. I'm going to touch on what's been happening for me the last few days and talk a little bit about last week's recovery education live feeds. It was good stuff. So we've got 9. Just wait for a few more. If those people do join us. 11, welcome. Emily, hello Emily, we're missing you. We're missing you at our meetings. Hope your son's doing all right. You're both welcome whenever you're ready. Danny Wilson, good. Hello, my brother. Good stuff. Right, I'm going to start. So welcome to Kickback Recovery. First of all, I want to say thank you for everybody for getting involved, helping me do something I can't do on my own. So today I'm just going to touch on how I've been feeling over the last few days. But before I go into that, I just want to say thanks for everybody who joined us last week. That we started last week with these live feeds, and it's for us to raise awareness around, for Facebook to take an interest in us, to give us this toolbar which will help us put a donate button on so people can donate to our charity. We are a registered charity that's based in Sheffield, supporting people with addiction problems, alcohol, dual diagnosis and their affected family members. And it's really, really good. We've been going, we'll be celebrating 5 years in November that we've been knocking around as a LERO. A lived experience recovery organisation, and we're proud of that. So we've got 18 people. Yeah, my eyes aren't that bad, but welcome everybody. Leaf Waits, welcome. So I'm going to be honest. You know, whatever we talk about at Kickback, it's not a place where we want to get people's sympathy, and it's not about that. You know, I've been doing this stuff for a long time. I've been in recovery for over 7 years now. There's lots of ups and downs that come with that, and we share honestly at our meetings, and it's not. We're starting to do a bit of sharing live on through this social media stuff, and it's not to gain sympathy. It's just to carry that a message. It's all for us to get followers and people to support us in what we do. So I'll be honest. You know, the last few days for me, I've been not so nice. You know, nothing major's happened, nothing chaotic, drastic. Nobody's died. Nobody's, I ain't lost my job, I ain't fell out in a relationship, I ain't fell out with my son. You know, it's just, what's happened, I think, just because I get passionate about this stuff, and I've got all this, which I think I've got all this energy, but really I'm not, you know, I'm not the man I used to be. You know, in my head, I want to do it all, and I burn out quite often. And when I burn out, I think, right, and when I need a bit of a rest day, so I'll spend a bit of time. I think, right, I'll get myself a meal, and I like to go to my room. It's quite comfortable, got a nice view, and I'll watch some TV, and I'll watch that, and I don't know what happens. I probably do the wrong things, you know. I just think I'm treating myself to this day off, and then I become depression just comes from nowhere. You know, it always raises its ugly head, the black dog. you know, and I never really knew what the depression was. And when I was in active addiction, whenever I felt low, like we've all done, we felt crap and life for us, stuff for us, and I don't like what I'm feeling. I was doing that from when I was 12. Whatever I was feeling, I didn't like it, I'd change it, I'd use a substance, like we all have. Some of us, not all, but whatever that would be, it could be food. At them times it was solvent, drugs, alcohol, you know, to change the way I feel. And in recovery, obviously, I don't use drugs no more. I don't do that. You know, but life's still throwing its stuff at me. You know, there's still stuff happening, events, and I don't know. How do we get through it? You know, I get through it by the main thing. The first thing that I don't do, I don't use drugs anymore. I don't drink. I sit with feelings. I process these feelings, and I kind of let them go. But I don't know what's happened last week. I don't know, this depression. So I wanted to have a wash, usual stuff. When you're in active addiction, sometimes I didn't wash, I'll be honest. You know, I lost in drugs and in the madness. I didn't wash for days, weeks. I didn't brush my teeth for weeks. Sometimes I didn't sleep for over weeks at a time. You know, I didn't look after myself. I became very unwell. You know, life's different today. I'm in recovery. I get a wash every morning, clean clothes. I do all those basic things, which back in active addiction, the basic things were like climbing a mountain sometimes. I thought, obviously when the drugs had worn out and I was really fatigued with all the using and abusing, and what we were left with, just really unwell. And then depression had set in, you know. And the thought like, like health hygiene, you know, I just said like brushing my teeth like climbing Mount Everest, you know. I didn't want to do that, you know. Do I have to get a bath? You know, friends saying, get in bath, run in a bath for me. And the thought of jumping in a bath, well, like, wow, you know. When I got in the bath, it was a different story. You know, I've had people shave me and shave my head and look after me, which I'll always be forever grateful with that stuff. I was really, really unwell, you know, and I get myself to a stage where I felt a little bit better, but then I'd go and use drugs again. So all this cycle, this self-harming cycle had start all off again. I was in that cycle for many, many years. You know, I've used drugs for over 3 decades, you know, in the last decade of that, very heavy cocaine usage in lots of amounts, industrial amounts. And I said that not for a place to show off. I was just in a place where I had access to certain Class A, good quality Class A drugs, cocaine and crack, and I had the money because I've done quite well in business. But that were all addiction. That were all like, you know, whatever I was doing, it was never enough. I wanted more money, women, materialistic stuff, you know, a bit bigger house, better house, a nicer car, a nicer watch, whatever, it was never enough. Because I suffer from, which I now know, I suffer from an illness of more and more and more and more. It's never enough. You know, I manage that illness today. I rest it daily by doing what's suggested, and that is for me, first things first, like I just said, I don't pick drugs up no more. As soon as I pick that first drug up, it's all over, innit? Because I just don't put it down till they're all gone, or till I physically can't do it. And and I absolutely go crackers. Drug fuel psychosis. We're talking about this today at work. So I am actually at work at the moment, you know, I'm working, but this is part of Kickback's work to do a few hours a week, recovery education, which we do. So every Thursday, 5:30, tune into this and we'll be doing a proper PowerPoint recovery education about certain topics. You know, last week we spoke an hour on goodwill and gratitude. And I'll teach on that, and then we open it up for people to get involved as well, to get some, you know, service users to input in that. And it's a really good thing. If you haven't watched it, if you look back on our live videos, you'll find it last Thursday. And we're going to be doing that type of thing every Thursday, 5:30, and every Friday afternoon at 2 p.m. And in the week, we're just going to do an hour of this, what I'm doing, just winging something, just talking how I'm feeling at the moment. You know, people can, if they want to ask any questions, feel free to you know what I mean? I ain't got all the answers. But what I have got is I've got a recovery program. You know, it's not 12-step foundation, but you know, and I live that. But I've kind of we've created Kickback Recovery, which is a place where the anonymity's gone. The anonymous stuff's gone. You know, it's celebrated recovery, it's making it visible, it's carrying that message. In all we do, you know, and being proud of recovery and breaking stigma. And that's what we do at Kickback Recovery. And everybody's welcome, you know, and the part of what we're doing is, I'm getting on here waffling, and that's to get these hours built up for Kickback, build some hours up, get Facebook taking interest in us. What we're doing is professional, it's all above board. We're a registered charity based in Sheffield. We have trustees, we have volunteers, we've got some great service users. And we're putting it all together as a group. It's not just me, even though I'm just waffling on now. You'll see in the future, over the months to come, hopefully years to come, there is it's a group effort, it's a team effort, and it's a good team that we've got. So this is just getting these hours built up where we can get a donate button. We might even get an opportunity, hopefully, of, you know, like stars. We're not going to go out there begging for people to buy these stars. It's just an option. If anybody was listening and anybody like couldn't get to our meetings and decided that Thursday, Friday, I'm going to join Kickback for these group education, recovery education stuff around addiction, around recovery. You know, I want to get involved with that, and I might want to donate a few stars a week. You know, I'm at home. It's not costing me nothing, but I might be generous to help us in our everyday running costs, and we would be grateful, but we're never going to beg. So I just want to say, well, thank you for everybody who has helped me with Kickback Recovery. We've got some good people on board. So this depression stuff, it's inactive addiction, that'd last with me for months sometimes. You know, it come from nowhere. Even at times where I thought, right, I'm going to get myself right, I'm going to get myself, you know, I'm going to work, I know I made a right mess of everything, I'm ruining, I'm dying, I'm slowly dying, you know. You know, were I an addict or were I not an addict? I didn't know then. I didn't know about addiction. All what I know was I always wanted to get high. And once I got high, I weren't like any other people. I wanted to maintain high. So it went from buying a couple of bags. I'd done lots of drugs in years before, but the cocaine stuff, when I got introduced to cocaine, it was like, wow. You know, for many months, you know, I was selling drugs, I was selling cocaine. I never tried it. I used to see other people buying it and rolling a note up and sniffing it up the nose, and I just think, why would anybody want to do that? Why would someday roll a note up? I went into training, I went into exercise, I went into all other stuff, but I went into cocaine. I couldn't figure out why somebody would want to sniff something up the nose. And one day somebody built a spliff, a coke, and I tried that, and it kept going out, we kept lighting it, and it was all right, but it didn't really tickle me. And then there were one night we were in a casino in many years ago in Sheffield, and somebody said, do you want one of these? And I went, come on then, let's and I went to the toilet and I came out, and it was like, wow, what is that? You know, like it was like, whoa. I talked to anybody, you know, first line I've ever had, you know, I felt great. The smell of it smelled all petrol-y and all, you know, it was all oily on my fingers, and it was just, that was it. I never started off bits at weekends, and then it got to the cheeky one in the week, a Wednesday night, a Thursday night, feeling really guilty and shameful about what I'm doing. Have I got a problem? Well, you shouldn't be really doing this on a Wednesday night. You work it morning, you've got to get up, you've got to pick lads up, and it'll be all right, you know. And then that went on to Wednesday afternoons, Thursday afternoon, you know. I got obsessed with porn, you know, which I thought, well, what are you doing? You know, what's all this about? You've got a girlfriend, you've got everything's going all right, but you'd rather be doing sniffing coke and watching porn, you know. And for some people, it might be shocked at that. I think, you what? But I can say that freely, you know. When I first went into a rehab and I talked about my addictions and my behaviour, and I were quite embarrassed about it, and it didn't come at me well saying that I was an addict or recovering addict. And the porn stuff were embarrassing. You know, I felt everybody going to laugh at me, but I've heard people share lots and lots of times with this illness that I've got, and they talk about that, and I talk about it often. I can talk about it on social media. You know, for me, it was stimulants, it was porn, it was sex. Those were the three things. It were women. You know, those drugs stimulated the same part of my brain that the porn does, the cocaine does, the crack did, and the sex did. And if I were having a bit of it all together, my brain would just release all the chemicals, and it'd be the biggest rush ever, and it'd be like, this is what I like, this is what, and I got lost in it all, and I got very lost. I was so unwell, and I just couldn't stop. I couldn't just put it down, you know. Every night was my last night. This one's going to be my last one. Let's make it a good one. Let's, you know, try and manage it. I never could manage it. It always ended, in the latter days, it always ended up in drug-fueled psychosis, because it'd start off when I wouldn't have a night on it, and I'd be getting into a quite a large amount, and I'd be thinking I'm going to stop, and it'd go on for weeks till it had gone. Wherever the amount were, I wouldn't stop till it had all gone. And then I'd still be scraping a big freezer bag out, you know, which is not just me who's done that, and I'm sure there'll be other people in the time to come that do that. But looking back now, it was just a crazy life, and I blew hundreds of thousands of pounds. I've been successful in business. I had some good businesses, and I kind of didn't blow it all, but I blow it. I give it away. I just give it away. The business deals just turned to rubbish. Before, I used to put some good deals together. I couldn't do that anymore. Relationships, I couldn't hold down a relationship because I couldn't. My relationship with cocaine. So I let people down. I always fell short. All these promises at the time I meant. I'll not do it again. I love you. I'm sorry. Like we've all done, you know. They were, I wouldn't say they were false promises, because I really meant them at the time, and I did. But you know, within 48 hours, I'd have this illness talking to me, saying, come on, you know what I mean, this time's going to be different. And I used to kid myself, this is going to be the last one, and it were never the last one. You know, it were only through lots of pain, lots of heartache, and lots of tears and mess, and messy clothes, and messy bedding, and just messing everything up. Literally, you know, that you just, enough were enough. And I've shared before that I went into one rehab. I was at home, it was Thursday night. I got in touch with the Priory in Altrincham, just outside Manchester, you know, and they told me these prices, and they was really expensive. But at that time, I were up to no good, and I'd done all right, and I had some money hid away, which I ain't got now, because I did it all in. But I was having a really bad episode of psychosis, and it was early hours of Thursday, and I just grabbed the rucksack, filled it with thousands of pounds, and I drove off to Manchester to find this Priory Rehab. And I remember early hours of the morning, and I got to near Manchester, and I thought, what are you doing here? What are you doing? You just get yourself in an hotel, just get your head down and get yourself right, and all, you know, wired. Get yourself in there and sort yourself out. And I pulled into a car park, wherever it were, near Manchester, and I walked into these doors that opened. And as soon as I walked through these doors, these two blokes just went, no chance, you're not coming in here. You know, where I was that wired, they wouldn't let me in. So I thought, all right, it's okay. Jumped back in van, this old transit work van I had at the time. I was building my own house at the time. Drove around here wherever I needed to go. And I've been asking people, so but this time it was like 8 o'clock in the morning, all people were taking their kids to school, and I'm winding a window down in a battered old transit near Altrincham, saying, excuse me, love, can you tell me where Priory Rehab is, please? You know, I got some right looks, but I eventually got to this Priory Rehab, and I parked up outside, and I thought, right, what do I do now? They didn't even know I was coming. They had no idea that I was actually coming there. I turned up wired, smashed out of my head. I've rang them up. I rang a girlfriend at the time I was seeing. I explained to her she was staying at her mum's, because things probably got too bad at home. She was staying at her mum's, and I explained what we were going to do, and I don't think she even took me seriously. And I said, right, so I got the rehab number, and I rang the rehab. I said, hello, my name's Mick, I'm sat outside in a van. You know, I need help, can somebody help me? And the lady, a lovely lady, she turned around to me and said, I'm sorry, but you need to be referred by your doctor or drug services. We just can't take you in. You know, like that. And I'm like, I'm here, I'm not going nowhere. If you don't let me in, I'm just going to come in and whatever. I can't remember exactly. But I remember somebody saying to me, right, just wait there. And they sent a psychiatric nurse out to kind of assess me, or a psychiatrist. I don't know. She was a lovely lady. And we went through this assessment in this transit van, and they said, right, come on then, come in. I showed them I got the money. And whether it were all about money, I don't know. Hopefully not. But I showed them, and I went in there. I had a week in there, and I went to meetings, and I still weren't ready. You know, there were people in there still using. There were like famous people in there as well. You know, going to their meetings. No disrespect to any alcoholics, but it were kind of mainly alcoholics in there. And I went to a meeting, and I'm a, you know, cocaine addict. You know, all the madness that comes with them substances. Crazy nights, sleepless nights. Wow, psychosis, paranoia. You know, these people were sharing. There were people from like the forces in there with their insurance policy would pay for them to go in there. And there were some lovely, lovely people, but whether it was my paranoia, when I shared my story, I'll be honest, before I went in there, I was quite popular, and I shared my story, some of my episodes of what had gone off for me in my active addiction, you know, in that world. And I think it shocked a lot of people, you know, and the people weren't that forthcoming to come and talk to me after. Whether all that were in my head, I don't know, but after that I left, I jumped straight, I just said, all right, I'm leaving. Whether I get my money back, whether I don't, I'm not bothered, I'm leaving. I was asked to stay there. Why don't you stay here? Why don't you get well? Give it a chance. But I just thought, no, I'm off. And I just weren't ready. I weren't ready to surrender. I wanted to use more, and I went back out there another year and a half. You know, at it, crazy sessions, you know, like people can similarise to what I'm saying. You know, but I'm here today, and it's I've talked about my story lots and lots, but it's about Kickback being a charity and carrying that message and to get people involved with Kickback and that we can get well. So after that, another 18 months out there, I had lots of caring friends who I couldn't go out to shops. I had people leaving me food parcels on my step. You know, I looked like Father Christmas with a beard. I didn't look well. The only time I went out was to score. You know, all gym stuff had gone. I'd like self-cannibalise, and you know, it just, I kind of looked like, I don't know, one person said, you know, an old girlfriend will come to see me. Bloody hell, you look like Steptoe. You know, like Steptoe. Oh, yeah, true story. But anyway, so I got in touch with a 12-step rehab. I say it now, Ark House Rehab in Scarborough. I had a bit of assessment on the telephone. And they were lovely, and they were understanding. And they listened to what I was saying. They got what was going on for me. You know, a lady, a good friend of mine, Dina, who kind of says, come on, let's ring this rehab. And we spoke to him, and he said, we're nowhere near as expensive as the last rehab, but the quality of recovery, the quality of what we're being taught, the 12 steps. And I was like, 12 steps? What's 12 steps? 12 steps, they told me, is a spiritual program. There's lots of writing, there's this, there's that. So what I can remember, I'm like, writing? I don't want to go anywhere and do any writing. And it was the same thing. I'd had a week on the sofa, got myself off well, and I thought I can do it on my own. I don't really want to go back to school writing. I'd had enough of that at school. And so I left it. I said, listen, thanks for your help. I'm going to sort myself out. And obviously what happened, I didn't. I got worse and worse and worse. Cut a long story short, I went there. Sorry, I rang up again when I really hit more of a rock bottom. And I said, it's Mick. And they remembered me like it was yesterday. And they said, oh, we've been thinking about you. And so I said, I need to get in there quick. I've got me money for whatever weeks. And I need to get in there. And they said, right, we did an assessment again over the telephone. And I were in there, I think that was Monday. By Wednesday, I were in there. And I surrendered. Not fully, but I went in there and I thought, you know what, how can I get well? You know, because in my head, I was a very unwell person. You know, the stories I could tell is one after another, you know, and we've all got stories, haven't we? But the guy in there, a lovely guy, said to me, he said, like, listen, just do what's suggested. You know, the staff in there were unbelievable. I owe my life to them people. You know, do what's suggested, go with the flow, do as what we kind of tell you, and you will get well, because we've got well. And one of the guys says, I ain't used drink or drugs for over 8 years or something. There was somebody in there where, there's a guy now, Bjorn, he's the owner, with Raf, and the guy's got over 30 years and so on. And it's just, I went in there and yeah, I got it. I had this, after a couple of weeks, I wanted to leave. I thought, you know what, this is mad. This is not for me, this, because I still weren't ready. But a lovely manager, Jez, said, listen, just for me, if not for you, just stay and give it a chance. And if if anybody out there listening to it, like, well, I've had some stories like that, not exactly like that, but, you know, recovery is possible. You can get well. You know, I kind of made the decision that I'd had enough because the pain was just too painful. You know, I couldn't carry on. I was killing myself. We say sometimes in fellowships, you're slowly committing suicide day by day. But for me, in my latter end, you know, using it, it were quickly, it were happening quick. You know, it were really happening, and so unwell, spiritually bankrupt, you know, just warped thinking, you know, self-centeredness stuff going. So anyway, I decided I'm going to stay and give it a go. Something like 3-4 weeks in, I had this awakening. I started doing all step work, you know, I was hearing other people share, so kind of same shares as what I was talking about, you know, the porn, the crack, the cocaine, you know, addiction. I learned about addiction. I learned what addiction was. You know, I thought it were all about drugs. And drugs, the using, the pouring, or whatever, is just tip of the iceberg. Just for somebody like me, you know, I've got an illness. Addiction it's all over me. You know, it shows its symptoms in lots of ways. The drugs, the porn, the whatever, were just a symptom of the illness. You know, I learned that. You know, it shows itself in relationships for me today. You know. People, places, things, business, kickback recovery. I can get overwhelmed with it all and consumed and passionate. It can become everything. You know, helping other people, I can put other people before me. I become unwell. You know, boundaries and all these feelings, whatever the world's giving me, I want a bit more of that, and I'll come alive. Well, my illness can come alive again, and I'll seek the chaos. I don't have to be the drink or drugs, but I can seek chaos. I can seek sugar. I want exercise. I want it all, and I want it now. And at Kickback, I've learned to manage that. And but before we got to Kickback, so I've done my time at the 12-step rehab. I've gone straight to Narcotics Anonymous. The thought of that, you know, like, right, when I'm getting out, I wanted to like go on holiday and celebrate, or, you know, do whatever, have a bit of break from all bloody rehab stuff. You know, in my head, I don't know whether I just wanted to have a break from it all, maybe, and then think, well, I might go back out there, and when I'm ready, I'll do it differently this time. You know, I'll just use it weekends. And I was told to go straight to an NA meeting and get straight into the program and stuff. And I had a good think about that, and I did. I took me straight to a meeting in Sheffield, and I got involved with them. A bit of AA, a bit of CA, worked this program. I did relapse after 7.5 months, which were, yeah, you know, I went somewhere, which I didn't listen to what were being suggested, to stay away from certain people, places and things. I decided to go somewhere, and I saw somebody, and then I met them on a Monday, and they were a decent size amount of cocaine, and I thought I can make a bit of money with that. I can, whatever, and I didn't end up using, and I was lost in it again for weeks. And I just had a taste of that whole life again, you know. But I had a head full of recovery it's never gone, that never went. And I just looked at it all and I thought, this is not for me, this. I can't live like this. I can't live like this no more. You know, it's killing me. All's not lost though. I went straight back to a meeting. I was welcomed with open arms. I went in there, I started working a bit of a program. There were people in that meeting that were getting key rings, you know, getting 18 months, and I was looking at them, and I've got respect and love for these people. And I'm thinking, that guy came to the same meeting on his first evening as I did, and he's getting 18 months. And I'm back in, fresh in. And I made that decision then that I've had enough. I want to be one of them people getting the 18-month key rings and multiple of years and working and a clean life, and that's what I did. And since then, I've never looked back. I got stuck into recovery. I surrendered. I fully surrendered. You know, for me, my fully surrender, I had to surrender to God. You know, I had to, you know, just let go of everything, let go of my will. You know, and welcome His will. And that's why we're not Kickback. We're not a religious group. We're far from it. God is mentioned quite a lot. People do have faith, me included. You know, it's not a religious program, it's a spiritual, it's not a 12-step program, even though the steps at times I spoke about. Sometimes people will share education stuff around 12 steps. We make it quite clear that we're not anything around 12 steps. We put that in our literature stuff. But yeah, and that's what's kind of saved me life. When I look back at it all, and even now sharing and being honest and becoming vulnerable again, this is to help other people. There's lots of other groups out there, and I respect all them groups, and there's lots of other people in recovery, and I respect theirs. But this is about kickback recovery, getting it out there, shining that light, shining that light of hope, sharing our experience, the Leroy stuff, lived experience recovery organisations. You're going to start hearing that term quite a lot, Leroy, lived experience recovery organisations. And there's a lot of Leroys on here listening to me now. There's a lot of people with a lived experience recovery. And that's the way forward. It's for us to get out there, the step 12 stuff, and there's lots of big organisations making money, whatever, and I'm not disrespecting them, but we are the professionals, the people who've lived it, the people who have got stories to share, especially the recovering or recovered ones, like myself, who can get out there and carry that message, and that's what it's about. So anybody out there listening, I know I waffle quite a bit, but what we're trying to do is anybody listening who is in a mess, who is sat at home now, who is sat in their own mess, who is sat in mucky clothes, who is struggling, who's got a pocket full of drugs or whatever, and totally sick and tired of being sick and tired, that recovery is possible, there is hope. If I've done it, and I've shared only a little bit of my story about the madness, there's other people here who can see, they've done it. There's lots of people at Kickback Recovery or any other, an anonymous fellowship. Get yourself out, get yourself to a meeting, get involved with drug services, ask for help. People aren't mind readers. I used to sit at home crying to myself, sat on the edge of my bed rocking, you know what I mean? Well, you think one of my old girlfriends is going to come up and knock on the door and save me? What about my old friend I ain't seen for about 6 years? Do you think he's heard? Do you think he's heard what I'm up to? But nobody come knocking. I think people just realise that, well, what the feedback I got is, Mick's Mick, he does what he does, he'll resurface in whether it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or whatever, and he'll be back. There was people who, I got a phone call from a guy who run a rehab in Africa, South Africa it was. He spoke to me, and I'll always remember that. And I had a friend say, right, I'm going to pay for your flights. Get on the next flight to South Africa. The guy will pick you up from airport. I just weren't ready, I weren't ready, What I do know is I wish, when I look at my life now, coming up to 6 years drug-free, why didn't I do it earlier? What I'm achieving now, the relationships I've got with people, what's going on for me, all the blessings of recovery that are given to me daily. Why didn't I do this years ago? Why? Why did it take me to be 45-year-old to first turn up at a rehab? 45, and then it took another 2 years then, so when I was 47, that it kind of clicked, that it should change your life, and that's what I did. But for the people, I'm an old bloke now, for the people out there who are still at it in the 20s, in the 30s, it's going nowhere. It is going nowhere. Whatever deluded way of thinking, whatever you think it's going to take you to, it's not taking you nowhere. It's just taking you to a very, very painful place. And what I want to touch on as well is I'm no football fan. I don't know nothing about football. But I was sat in the bath a couple of nights ago, and I thought, what about all this Euro 2000 stuff? How many people? These drug dealers must be having it off. All phone calls they get in England are doing well. People will be ringing up for drugs. There'll be new people who've never touched drugs before in their life. They'll be getting involved with, have a line of this, have a smoke of that, and I just thought about all that stuff. And I remember going back, I've just said I've got a few years on me now, but I remember working doors in Sheffield in Euro 96, cleaning up around them times, Euro 96, I remember it. Bang at it, working doors, doing a bit of this, a bit of that, life was brilliant. Quite handsome at the time, getting a few birds and all that stuff, and life was great, and sniffing and doing whatever. I'm thinking, oh bloody hell, that were a rough night last night, but I'll do it again. I kept on doing it, and years on, decades on, I found myself in a rehab. It went from all like bright lights, you know, all attractiveness, nightclubs, bars, hanging around with different birds and champagne and nice clothes and nice cars or whatever. Years on, that took me to a place, took me to a bedroom, in my bedroom, locked away, barricaded in, and all using cocaine. I thought cocaine on that. Ain't cocaine associated with all glitter and all the high life? I was barricaded in a bedroom, sniffing ounces at a time, 4.5 ounces at a time, you know, flushing large amounts down the toilet. It's all full of paranoia and psychosis, you know. Excuse me, I'm being quite honest. I don't have any involvement in that type of stuff anymore. I learnt my lesson through stuff like that. I went to prison. You know, I live a good life now. I run a charity. My life's changed. You know, it's just, you know, that's where drugs took me. And I'm just going back to that Euro stuff. Euro 96 and then that. Is it Euro 2000? And I'm not a football. Yes, come on.
Lots of people agreeing with
yeah.
on here on comments.
Thank you, Sally. Sally's our admin. She's a lovely lady. She's our trustee. She works with me. We're in her office today. She works with me quite a lot. She's brilliant. She's. I said this. Kickback's gone from you know, a charity we're like a community group. It's now into a brilliant organisation, and that's with people like Sally and the other trustees helping me do what I can't really do on my own. You know. So yeah, the football stuff. It's just in my head. All this. How much drugs are being used? How well are drug dealers going? No disrespect to any drug dealers, you know what I mean? And all these people, I've got a son who's 17. You know, my main worry is for him using. You know, I know we've all been young and we're all experimenting, and is somebody going to offer him some drugs while he's watching football in a pub or a bar, and he gets a taste of something, and there's no looking back for him. You know, shit happens, doesn't it? You know. But none of that's my business. You know, I'm sat in a bath overthinking stuff. But it's not my business, is it? I have to keep my nose out in it. But it doesn't stop me from thinking about it. It was just, I really needed to talk about it. And yeah. So, is any questions, Sally? Anybody's asking any questions? I don't know how long we've been talking.
Not specific questions. Emily has just put that that's what she doesn't get. Locked in a house on your own, paranoid. Why pay to feel like that? That's when it's gone too far. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah, get it? You know, why do we do it? Why do we do it? We didn't plan to do that, did we? I never planned to end up in a bedroom, locked in, barricaded in, still shoving it up my nose, thinking, well, I'm going to get busted any minute. People are going to catch me doing what I'm doing. I'm obsessing about stuff, watching certain stuff, you know, lost in it all. But why do I keep on doing it? Because I can't stop. You know, we turn into mice. You know, I'm a grown man, I turn into a mouse. That's what Class A drugs did to me. But I kept doing it again and again and again. And I never got any different outcome. Well, you know about the insanity stuff. You know, it just took lots of money, lots of pain, lots of upset and hurting lots of people. And we think we're not hurting anybody. Who are we hurting? We're only hurting ourselves. You know, when you do eventually put the drugs down and you do start working on yourself, you do come into recovery and you learn about addiction and you learn about your character defects and you learn about the illness and all this self-centeredness and, you know, greed and all the stuff, what is addiction, you know, then you'll know that you were hurting lots of people, you know, the ripple effect of your actions that rippled out, you know, hurt lots of people. But then you have an opportunity to make your amends and say sorry and work your program and get yourself well. And hopefully put right the wrongs that you did and talk about the wrongs that other people did to you and let go of them and accept certain situations and whatever went off and forgiveness. You know, learn to forgive and work on yourself and learn to love yourself and enjoy living a life without drugs. And that's what we do at Kickback. We live a life without drugs, and we have new people joining us weekly, daily, you know, and getting involved with us. So you're all welcome. I think Sally's put some meeting times. We do lots of Zoom meetings a week, which is it's a safe place. We do in-person meetings. You're welcome at any of our venues. We do one-to-one clinics in the morning. We can have a one-to-one and talk about a bit of an assessment, what's happening for you. I'm seeing some other stuff on here, like football being a trigger and, you know, I'm saying I'm not a football fan, far from it, but even I get excited. Come on, England. You know, whoa, And even certain films you watch, and there's triggers in them when you're watching some whatever film, it could be one of them gangster films or whatever, and they're sniffing and they're selling, and little triggers or nightclub stuff, them, especially them foot soldier film, Rise of Foot Soldier and stuff like that. Believe me, no. Yeah, go on, Sally.
We've just got a question here from Kathleen over in Winnipeg, Canada.
Okay.
Did anything anyone said to you when you were trying to get you to stop stick with you?
Not really, Kathleen. Not when I was doing it, because I just my main priority was just using drugs. You know, I'd listen out of politeness, but never really nothing that stuck with me. Except when people, there was once a lady, a lovely lady. I kind of saw her in town. I don't know what we're doing, and I thought I looked great and I felt great. And then I spoke to her on a telephone call a few days later, and she said to me, "Mick, when I saw you, I went home and I cried. I cried for about an hour." And I'm like, what do you mean? I couldn't believe what she was saying, that she cried because I looked that unwell and that poorly and shocking. It kind of disturbed her, you know, and she went home, she told her partner and she cried. And that's something that's kind of stuck with me, you know. But we don't listen, when we're in that madness, we don't listen to it. Anybody else, Sally? What time are we on?
We've been on 40 minutes.
Right, so we'll do another few minutes then, yeah.
Just so many people resonating with what you're saying,
yeah.
So many people saying how inspiration is, how much it's helping them, thanking you for your honesty. There's lots of people sharing their amazing stories as
Brilliant.
Well. Lorraine Warmsby, she's been clean for 18 years now.
Well done, Lorraine. Come on.
Okay, Lorraine's now asking, what clicked for you to change?
Just that, like I said, a 45-year-old man. I'll be honest, you know, I've always kind of tried to take pride in myself and like nice things. And I turned into a 45-year-old man sat in mucky pants, you know, sniffing coke, sat in dirty pants, dirty sheets, not washing, not cleaning, smelling, you know, and just disgusted with myself, you know. And it just, I think when your mental health goes to how it went with the drug-fueled psychosis, you know, hearing voices, hearing people, sat in an house, I'm going to be honest, sat in an house where I lived in the middle of nowhere with a telly down. I ain't even got neighbours, you know, thinking that I had to be quiet. And I remember watching certain things on TV and I thought that those people were watching me and I thought they were talking to me and I thought, you know, just this craziness, you know, the psychosis, smelling. Like I could smell people in my house smoking and there's nobody in my house, you know, and just hearing voices and, you know, just all the craziness. You know, our person who sniffed large amounts of Class A stuff or smoked it and I locked myself away for weeks on end and I went for over 9 nights. I know some people have done lots longer. It's not a competition. I'm not coming from a place of being competitive. I'm just sharing my story, honestly. You know, I remember somebody saying to me, you haven't been asleep for a week, you know, and I'm right, I'm going to get to sleep. And then 9 nights later, I'm still awake. And it's a frightening thought, like, I'm going to get sectioned here. Somebody's going to, like, ring these services or whatever. I'm going to get took away. And I didn't want that. You know, I had people sometimes ring me up saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I just have to finish off what we're doing. And I'm not going to go into what we're doing, but I had to finish it off. And it went on for days. And then when I look back, it were absolutely crackers. You know, I'm blessed to still be here, and this is why I want to make the most of it, to carry this message of what we're doing at Kickback and this recovery. I want to get everybody else involved as well, from all over the world, and get people coming in to share their stories. Sally?
Already, just from this video being on the length of time it has, we've got viewers in the UK, United States, Canada, Portugal, Australia, Slovakia, United Arab Emirates, Spain, South Africa.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Kickback Recovery. It's just brilliant. Please keep watching these live videos. You know, there'll be one of these once a week on, like, probably Tuesday. I don't know what time, because we're still monitoring it and seeing what worked best for everybody. But definitely every Thursday, UK time, 5:30, we'll be doing a topic, a teaching around whatever. I don't know what it's going to be this week. We'll wing something, put something together. And every Friday at 2 p.m. UK time, there'll be an hour's teaching. We're not going to, like, open the live feed up for people, because in the second half we talk about what's going on for us in as our addiction and our recovery, and that has to be kept safe. But this stuff, I don't mind sharing my craziness, you know what I mean? But I want to share my hope as well. This is what I really want to share, is that coming up to 6 years, you know, it'll be Christmas time, 6 years without using anything. I've shared a bit, only a bit of the craziness, the amounts of drugs I used to use, you know, the obsessions around the whatever it were. You know, a lot of them have gone. You know, I can still get poorly, like I've been for the last few days. I've been depressed. Where did that depression come from? I don't know. You know what I mean? When's it going to go? I don't know. When I was in active addiction, I used to just ride it, use drugs to change it, you know, to change that mood. In early recovery, I'd just kind of wait. I'd still isolate. I'd go to a meeting, share what I need to share. I'd go back home and get back in. I call it the pit. I'd get back in my bedroom and I'd isolate again to the next meeting. I was still unwell. What's happening these days is, right, you know, I've got some good people around me. I'm doing what I need to do. But the last few days I've been majorly depressed. Yeah, just 1 minute, Sal. And then I put the action in that's needed. And you know, I've had it before. Don't tell me oh, you'll be all right. I get all that. You know, what a thing to say to somebody who was really unwell and really feeling poorly. But what I've had to do is dig deep and put that action in and get myself to the gym. And I've hated it in gym yesterday. I've hated it. I want to get out of there. I want to go back to bed. I've done my clinics. I've done whatever. And I'm talking to people and I'm helping them. But in my head's saying me, go back to bed when you finish this. Isolate, you know what I mean? I'm still working on myself, you know, every day, you know. And what I did, and I put the action in and changed the way I was feeling through exercise. I feel all right now. Sally, did you want to?
Leith Waits has asked a question. If you sat down with a young Mick Hartley today, what would you say to him for it to sink in?
Oh, wow. Wow, Lee. I don't know. What through my experience, I think no matter what I said to him, if he was a young Mick Hartley like me, whatever anybody said to him, he wouldn't be listening. He'd think I'm doing it my way. Be polite and say, I understand, thank you, but I still go and do it my way. I hope one day I can sit down with somebody like myself and kind of, which we do sometimes have these assessments and clinics, appointments, and I think, oh, that's so much similarity, so much of what, he's just like me. And I want to wave that magic wand and I want to grab them and shake them and say, come on, wake up. It's going nowhere. But sometimes it just don't work like that. Even though I do, they just got to experience that pain, haven't they? You know, like I did, I just had enough pain, you know. And for some people, and I said this really treading carefully, you know, who are where I were, I hope you get that pain a lot quicker than what I got it. Because sometimes we have enablers, we have lovely people and family who love us and think they're doing the right thing, but that in that way is holding us back from finding recovery, because we don't go out the food, we don't go out the love, we don't go out with the shelter, we don't feel the full effects of our using, because we've got lovely people around us that cushion the blows of what active addiction can do when we're using. And I want, you know, sometimes, and I'll say to people, just, you know, like just the enabling stuff, just don't, you know, be mindful. There's a fine line between love and enabling, and let that person feel that pain. I've been speaking to somebody this morning, I don't go into it, but, you know, I'm trying to explain to somebody that they need to feel the full effects of what they're doing. You know, let them feel the pain, let them experience it, let them grow from it, and the pain hopefully will create change like it did for me. I'd had enough of this pain. You know, I'd had enough of being sick and tired. I'd had enough of me, you know. Sally?
There's a gentleman on here who's put a few different messages on, but basically he's just put, it's hard for him to put into words, and he's close to being suicidal. He doesn't use drugs anymore, but it's difficult. What advice would you give to a partner of an ex-user?
A partner of an ex-user. So the partner is the guy who's experienced all the pain, the ripple effects of the girlfriend who were actually using drugs. What I'd suggest is, then this is not promoting kickback, is what we do at Kickback Recovery. We support the affected family members like yourself. Get involved with us, get to one of our Zoom meetings. If you can, I don't know where you live in the world, get to an in-person meeting. If it's too difficult to get involved with us, you know, get in touch with your local drug services and explain to what you've just explained to me, that you are an affected family member, you're looking for a group, there's Al-Anon, there's other groups, you know, family groups, because you and yourself will be in some form of recovery, you know what I mean? It's been traumatic, you know, you've experienced a lot of hurt, pain. You go into recovery yourself to get well from it. That's what I'd say, if that's all right. Yeah. All right. So I just want to say thank you for today. It's thank you for giving me the opportunity to waffle on. Yeah. These will be coming regularly. So the next one will be live on Thursday, 5:30. Recovery teachings, 1 hour. Good stuff. Friday, 2:00 in the afternoon. Recovery teachings. We'll be talking whatever topics. We could be talking about what addiction is. We could be talking about character defects. We could be talking about whatever. We've got quite a lot we've been doing over the last few weeks. We'll be repeating them for the people out there. So this is an opportunity for people at home to, if you can't make a meeting, if you're poorly, we just talked about how unwell I was. I couldn't make. Imagine somebody saying to me, just watch this, watch this, Mick. Just get on this YouTube channel. We've got a YouTube channel. Find us on YouTube, Mick Hartley. Yeah, join it. I think we've got 13 subscribers, but hopefully in time to come, we'll get up to hundreds and thousands, and we're going to put these videos on there. Get involved with us. If somebody would have said to me, there's a Kickback Recovery, Facebook page, join that, and they'll be doing weekly, at least three a week, live feeds. Get involved with that. You don't even have to say anything, you can just listen. You can listen to what's being talked about and get some education. Because I didn't even know what addiction was. I didn't know what a disease was. I didn't know whatever it was. I just thought I was absolutely crazy and I couldn't stop using drugs. Get involved and learn, yeah? It don't cost you nothing. It's all free. Everything we do at Kickback Recovery is free. It don't cost you one penny. Right, so I think I'm going to wrap it up. So I want to say thank you to everybody, all our friends from out of the UK. Kathleen, thank you for constantly supporting us. Everybody at Kickback Recovery, thank you to all our trustees. Thanks to everybody who supports us. So next live feed will be Friday evening, 5:30 p.m.
Thursday evening.
Sorry, it'll be Thursday evening, 5:30 p.m. and then Friday afternoon at 2 p.m. Okay, everybody, thank you. Take care. Thanks for supporting us.